in the first half of the pandemic, everybody was saying the internet retail is going to wipe out all brick.
Yeah.
And there was a huge jump in online sales. And I kept looking at the data going, first of all, if you can't get your sales up when your competitor is closed, you've got a problem. And by the way, my comment over the first half of the pandemic was, as soon as stores are allowed to function and as soon as people feel comfortable to go back to stores, stores will hit record sales, which they did. And the second is, it's not like online disappears, but it goes back to trend. Well, that's exactly what's happened. It's gone back to trend. Now it's an increasing trend. So essentially sales are flatlining, adjusted for inflation. They're flatlining. And the trend is coming up to them. So that's another one where I don't think most people had quite thought about it that way. Again, industrial is another good example. I couldn't figure out, I'm going to go back to like 2016, 2017.
Okay.
You saw strong industrial demand, right? And no matter how much supply was being created, there was more demand. And then you'd get more supply brought on and there was still more demand. And then you get more supply brought on in 18, and there was still even more demand. And no matter how supply picked up, demand was outrunning it in 16, even more so 17, even more so 18, 19. And as you know, that's continuing. And I'm going, how can that be? How can you keep increasing supply and demand ever runs faster? There's got to be something going on. Well, I was very tuned in to the online retail. I'm quite involved. I'm on the board of a major shopping center company for many years. So I'm quite attuned to the rise of online sales. And I kept looking at the rise in online sales, retail sales, going, it's got to be related to this demand picking up ever faster. And so I kept going, what's going on? Well, as we looked at it, as we looked at some of the layouts, as we looked more closely at some of the engineering factors, a few odds and ends, little snippet studies, kind of came to the belief that if you go to the store and buy your vest, and then I order the same exact vest online, the amount of warehouse space needed for my vest is 3 times roughly what it was for your vest. And you go, now let's get that straight. And of course, it's because wider aisles are needed, assembly space is needed, handling is needed, small boxes rather than big pallets, et cetera, et cetera. But it took us a while to figure that out. Well, now the trend in demand made sense, because normally you would think, gee, if retail sales in total are up in real terms 2%, you would normally think, and historically would find, industrial space, you need warehouse space at about 2% more to deal with that, right? Just crudely. You have 2% more shirts, 2% more warehouse. But because of this upward trend in online, it skews. And when I did some back of the envelope, and I don't want to be overstating its precision, where you include true industrial activity, true import-export activity, brick retail, and online retail. And everything is growing at about the rate of the economy, except online retail, which is growing faster than the economy, but it's a 3-to-1 demand factor. And when I did that, you come out saying, you get an economy that grows real terms 2.5% a year, you need about 4% more warehouse space a year.